Hey guys, so I promised I would make a new review for the show that I went to last night, so I figured I'd make that right now, so yeah. So the show that I went to last night was the Metal Alliance Tour, which included a variety of different bands, which are all very notable. Well, the last three are very notable. The openers were Black Crown Initiative and Inquisition. And of course, the major, like big three ones were 1349, Goatwhore, and finally Behemoth. So I'm going to be talking about all five of their performances and get into a little bit about the venue that they were hosted in, and also I'm going to get into something a little bit more detrimental later on. So just stick with me here. So the venue that I went to last night was the House of Blues, which is on Sunset Boulevard. It's basically in Hollywood, like right near Beverly Hills. It's a pretty cool venue, I guess. The lines are a bit weird, even though I showed up early and was able to get through them. I can only imagine how disorganized that must have been for people coming in later, because after they pat you down, they scan you to make sure you don't have any like guns or knives or anything like that, so you don't hurt people at the show. When you actually get past that, they actually there's no like cohesion to you're supposed to go. They kind of just pack you in like sardines, so it's a bit jumbled like that. I can imagine it could have gotten a lot worse for people who showed up much later than I did. So yeah, that's pretty bad. But once you get inside, it's actually pretty open for the most part, at least. You got the merch stands on one side. You got two bars that are on each side of the pit. So if you want to get out and grab a drink, you can. Um, I'm not quite 21 yet. I'll be 21 in November, so mm, this close. But the most I got was just a water. But I mean, I shouldn't even be drinking before I drive, anyways. I'm not much of a drinker, to be honest, but that has nothing to do with anything. Uh, anyway, this venue is, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got some weird knickknacks of like some religious symbols, like up on the top shelf of the stage. It's got a like very homely sort of feel to it. It's kind of weird, but it's still very cool. I think it just had its 20th anniversary this year. I think I give this venue about a 7.75 out of 10. It's just a very interesting venue. The line organization's a bit jumbled, and I don't know, some other stuff that maybe I thought was a bit irritating. Like when I went to see one of the performances, I was packed behind like this big beam, which got a bit irritating, but that has more to do with my personal decisions than those of the venue. That has nothing to do with anything, but I don't know. That's just what I thought. I think I give the venue overall just a 7.75 out of 10, but whatever. Okay, let's get to the actual meat of the review, the bands. So the first band was a Black Crown Initiate from Pennsylvania, I believe. I think that's what they said. Nice like melodies, like post prog melodies or whatever. It kind of reminds me of it's like a cross between Enslaved and Dream Theater, like their sound, which is very interesting. Like everyone's like tapping their instruments and stuff. And sometimes a lot of stuff gets drowned out by the drums and bass pedals. I think more emphasis was given to the drum and bass pedals than needed, really. But I mean, for what they were able to present, it was actually still quite nice. So gotta give them credit for that. Um, I give it about an 8 out of 10. I thought, yeah, really good, great performance. I thought maybe the mixing was a bit spotty, but it wasn't too bad. I thought it was a nice show. So definitely have to give them my seal of approval, and hopefully they do well in the future. So the next band was Inquisition, and by the time they got to the stage, the crowd swelled up a good deal. So I didn't realize a lot of people were there for them or anything like that. But I mean, it hadn't even gotten to the third band yet, let alone the headliner Behemoth. So this was kind of crazy. I'd never even heard of Inquisition before, so I figured maybe they were like a local product or something like that. But anyway, like a huge mosh pit was already assembling. Like by the time they were doing their thing, working their magic. It's a two-man black metal project. There's one drummer and one guy playing guitar and also doing vocals. So there's no bass at all. Like you hear with a lot of black metal music that either there's like you think either the bass is tuned down very low or you have the suspicion that there's no bass period. With this band, there is no bass period. So just the guy with the guitar and vocals and the drummer. And I thought the mixing, the sound for them was actually improved quite a good deal over the last band, even though there is no bass. So I thought it worked out quite nicely, really. They have a very similar look and feel to Immortal. I think the singer sounds a lot like Abbott. I think they knows about the bass and that kind of black metal. So if you have, that's a reference point for you to see what these guys sound like. It was definitely a really good show as well. I think it's a bit too samey and traditional for my taste, but I mean, for in the context of this show, I thought they did a really good job. Um, I give it personally about 8 out of 10 still, just like the other band, but that's more to do with maybe a little bit more diversity here and there, but I mean, it wasn't too bad. I thought it was definitely quite catchy. They put on a very enjoyable show. I really liked it, so yeah. And the next band is, of course, 1349. I know this is a very notable band in the black metal movement. The mixing for them was way worse than Inquisition. I think they put way too much emphasis on the drums and bass pedals once again. They sort of look like Talk, image-wise. They're more on the extreme, or like the more extreme side of black metal compared to Inquisition. Inquisition's more on the lighter, immortal side. These guys are, they have a bit more of like a grisly look to them. They weren't as good as the previous band in my opinion. I don't know, I couldn't really hear much other than the drums and bass pedals, and everything just seemed kind of monotonous to me. It felt like they were playing the same song over and over. But I don't know, maybe I'm just not getting what they're playing. I couldn't really make out all the details with the guitars and stuff, since it's very high, uh, very full of trouble, so to speak. So I don't know. It just wasn't as good in my opinion. I mean, they got some good energy. They got some very good stage presence, so I give them brownie points for that. But I don't know. The sound and mixing just was pretty bad in my opinion. It was worse than the first band, I thought. So it was hard for me to get into the performance fully, and I mean, the songs weren't as memorable as those from the previous two bands either. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not the biggest fan of their music, which I really am not, but uh, whatever. I mean, I apologize if I offend anyone who really liked their show or who loved this band. Maybe it's like their number one favorite band, that maybe it was the only band that they wanted to see at this show. And if I offended you guys, I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel. Overall, I'd give it about a 7 out of 10. I just thought it was a bit repetitive and monotonous after a while, so I couldn't really get into it, but that's just me. I'm sorry if I offend anyone. That's just my personal opinion. Like, it's a review, and yeah, okay, moving on. So the next band was Goatwhore, and they had a great, energetic performance overall. The sound and the mixing improved dramatically for them. Like, I'd say over all the bands that came before them, even though Inquisition I thought had a really good sound. Everything sounds exactly where it needs to be. It just sounded really, really good. They got a very they got an interesting sound. I think it's like black metal crossed with like classic '80s vintage, like '80s thrash metal, pretty much. Think like Overkill or Megadeth. The lead singer definitely has a lot of charisma on stage. He interacts with the crowds quite a bit. He like high fives, fist pumps them, and I've seen him like air guitar on stage, which along with like the guy playing the guitar solos and stuff. So that's really cool. He definitely has a lot of talent as well. Like he never like skipped a beat whenever I was watching him play. He definitely is very good at what he does. He has a lot of charisma, and that is really really cool. Everyone else definitely has the musicianship chops as well. And they introduced a new song from their upcoming album. I believe it's coming out this summer. I think they're touring in support of the album that came out before. I forget the name. I mean, I haven't been like the biggest Goatwhore fan like before this show, but I think this show made me consider checking out their newest album when that comes out this summer. So we'll see about that. But yeah, I really like this performance. Very fun, very cool. I think it was the best one so far. Like before the headliner. So that's really really good. Overall, I'd give this about an 8.25 out of 10. Very fun, very cool show. I really, really liked it. So, thumbs up to Goatwhore. And finally, for the last band that played, Behemoth, they put on a great, disciplined show with a lot of awesome stage presence, fantastic light work. And they're just blazing through all these classic songs like A Fire in the Void, Christians to the Lions, um, among others. They also played new songs like Furor Divinus, O Father, O Satan, O Son, The Satanist, Blow Your Trumpets, Gabriel. Um, yeah, just a lot of great songs. They had a really, really good set list. A lot of great atmosphere as well. Like at the encore, O Father, O Satan, O Son. Like at the very end, they wore like these devil ritual masks or whatever, which is actually a really really nice touch. Um, these aren't the ones that they wore. In fact, I could argue that this one actually predates the ones that they wore because I made this back in sixth grade, whereas they're supporting the album now, so that's 8 years later. But regardless, this is still a very very awesome awesome atmospheric show, which really made my night. So, other than a few other things that happened, but just in the context of Behemoth themselves, Behemoth were just awesome. I can't praise them enough. Overall, I'd give Behemoth's show about an 8.75 to maybe round that up to a 9 because the reasons why I docked a few points is more to do with what happened around me in the audience as opposed to what happened on stage. Like, what happened on stage is a band like blazing through all these classic songs, just spilling their hearts and lungs out just to give us a great show and just to have fun. You can definitely tell it was a great night for them. It was. They should be very, very happy that it was a sold out show for them. I think they also sold out in New York. I was in LA. They sold out here, so you could definitely tell that they're very, very happy to have this success here, and I congratulate and applaud them for that. I can't give this band enough praise. Really, they did an amazing job. So yeah, now I'll get into the other stuff about what I didn't like immediately right after this. Now I want to get into something that really grinded my gears, basically, like right as Behemoth was getting onto the stage. So for anyone that just wanted to see the review and be like, "Oh, shut up, the review's done," you can leave now because now I want to get into an actual rant. So yeah, this basically was what caused me to kind of lower my score because of the overall experience. There was this one really fat guy that had a lot of colorful phrases to say. He called me a fag. He said a lot of just nasty things, was pushing people around. I remember he was flailing his arms like right in my face. If I have a feeling he was doing it deliberately just to try to piss me off. Um, but he saved like some of his most venomous words to like a few women in the at the show. Like there's this one lady on stage that was just announcing things, just announcing like upcoming stuff, and he just says all these really nasty things. I was standing right next to him as he was saying this stuff, and um, I don't want to say them here because I don't want to offend any like women that are watching this video, so I don't want to say it. And like he also said some really cruel things to this one lady in the audience, and I believe he was kicked out of the show like during Behemoth's set. So I think karma was on my side in that regard. But I mean, still, this really pissed me off. This was about to just be an honorable mention, but this is basically just a full blown rant now. I'm trying not to sink down to his level, but I hope nothing but the absolute worst for him on top of being kicked out of the show, because I came to just have a good time, just watch a band playing all these great songs, and I don't need big fat Fred Durst imitators like him just trying to spoil my night. I mean, I'd like to think of this as just an isolated incident. I don't want to think of all metalheads like that, because this made me feel like the shirt's actually pretty appropriate. I wore this shirt just last night. Discouraged. Um, it made me feel if all like if metalheads in general are to be like this, then I feel pretty discouraged to call myself a metalhead if I'm to expect that. So yeah, the music we listen to and the attitudes of people in the crowd does not excuse this kind of behavior. I cannot condone it. I can't tolerate it. I'm sorry, but I just can't. If any of you are able to tolerate it, then I feel ashamed for you too. So yeah, this really pissed me off. Fuck, God. I mean, this guy almost made me consider leaving early, which I'm very glad that I convinced myself to stay, because this guy was just a fucking nuisance. Um, Again, I'm trying not to uh, say any colorful descriptions of him because, I don't want to resort to his level. I'm trying to be the bigger man in this case, so I'm just trying to vent my feelings out in this regard. But yeah, it was people like him that actually made me consider leaving as I was watching Behemoth, but I just thank God, or in this case Satan, that I stayed, because this was a very rewarding show with in the context of what was being played on stage, not with all the assholes that I've had to deal with in the crowd pushing and shoving me and basically pushing me up to the beam just so I couldn't see the band. Yeah, that's basically what kind of spoiled the night for me. What could have been just a fantastic show ended up being slightly underwhelming because of the attitudes of people in the crowd. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really pissed off here. This is the rudest crowd that I've ever had to meet at any show, really. I hope Meshuggah's crowd is a bit more respectful, or at least I'll be up on the upper levels when I see Meshuggah, so there won't be any moshes pushing and shoving me. I'll have an actual seat, so I guess that'll be better for me. Um, but anyway, yeah, this doesn't discourage me from going to any future shows. I just want to highlight the fact that this guy was just an absolute nuisance, and I'm glad he got kicked out. I hope worse things befall on him in the future or something. I don't want to describe him, but I just hope really bad things happen to him. That's all I wish for him. And okay, rant done, review done. Thank you very much. See you later.